Good morning from Washington, D.C. Today is 29th of April, 2020. I'd like to talk about a very critical issue that we are going through in Iraq as we speak. The Shia militias in Iraq and the Iranian proxies in Iraq have meddled in Iraq since 2003, since the U.S. liberated Iraq from Saddam. And things could have been much better in Iraq if it wasn't for the Iranian meddling in Iraq. Now we know that the killing of Qasem Soleimani and Abu Mahdi Muhandis was a decision made by President Trump in accordance or reliance on the Iraq War Authorization Act of 2002. And I was in Washington, D.C. when this resolution passed, and we know that this resolution was passed by Congress, both Democrats and Republicans then, to authorize President George Bush to invade and extract Saddam from power and to establish a new regime in Iraq. Now, one of the beneficiaries of this resolution is Mr. Barham Salih, the current president of Iraq, and Mr. Mustafa Kadhimi, the current prime minister designate of Iraq. I must also remind everybody that this resolution by Congress, the Iraq War Authorization Act, was based or relied also on the Iraq Liberation Act, which we lobbied for in Washington and passed in October 1998. Section 3 of Iraq Liberation Act says the American people should help the Iraqi people to remove Saddam from power and establish democracy. We are proud to be part of this great law by the United States Congress, which passed unanimously in the Senate and with a great majority in Congress and was signed by President Clinton in 1998. Now, the same resolution to authorize the war in Iraq was used again by President Trump to kill Qasem Soleimani and Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, two notorious terrorists, killed hundreds of, maybe thousands of Iraqis and thousands of people all over the world, in the United States, in Argentina, and in Lebanon, everywhere in the world. So those people deserve to be killed, and it was the right move to make. And despite for all warnings that there will be a backlash after Qasem Soleimani's killing, like we hear every time, nothing has happened, and it shows that Saddam and Qasem Soleimani were both people who oppressed the Iraqi people and the Iranian people, and people who use terrorism to achieve their goals politically. Now, going back to Mr. Barham Salih, the current president, and Mr. Mustafa Kadhimi, who is the designate prime minister, both are attempting or trying to prevent the United States from killing and hitting militarily Shia militias and proxies in Iraq under the banner or the claim of peace. But this is a contradiction, and this is a dual stance, which is not acceptable, because if it wasn't for the Iraq War Authorization Act, Barham Salih wouldn't be sitting in power today in Baghdad, nor Mustafa Kadhimi would be in power in Baghdad. It's the United States, 4,000 soldiers and more than 20,000 who were injured in Iraq, who were the reason for the overthrow of Saddam Hussein, who were the reason for Mr. Barham Salih and Mustafa Kadhimi to be in Baghdad today. So to be a beneficiary from the Iraq War Liberation Act in 2002 up to today, and then stand against it under the claim of peace to prevent militias, because you're making an evil pact with the Shia militias and Iran proxies to stay in power, is quite unacceptable. I call for President Barham Salih, I call for designate Prime Minister Mustafa Kadhimi, please stop this action. This is an opportunity for the Iraqi people. You should help the United States. You should stand with the United States to kill and get rid of the Shia militias. Otherwise, you are facing a historical responsibility that generations in the future will ask you, will question you, your act today. Please don't. We heard in the news that Mr. Mustafa Kadhimi, the current designate prime minister, has met with Katab Hezbollah, trying to clear his side that he has nothing to do with the killing of Qasem Soleimani. I think this is a shameful act, and I think trying to clear yourself of killing Qasem Soleimani, whether you did it or you participated in it or not, is not an acceptable act, because the killing of Qasem Soleimani came to the benefit of the Iraqi people, came to protect the Iraqi people from a heinous killer who killed many Iraqis, as you are aware, Mr. Kadhimi. So again, you are facing historical responsibility, and please don't stand in the way of the United States to rid or kill Shia militias in Iraq, and don't act like you as if you are acting peace activists, because you are not. You are part of this whole war. You supported the war 2003, and you came as a result of this war after the removal of Saddam Hussein and his dictatorship. Thank you.